Okay. So I'm Mike, and I'm a research and development engineer at Jadu. And you've probably heard me talk about the LEX integration before. So today I'm going to give you a brief overview of what exactly that is and what I've been up to since I last spoken about it. So as some of you may know, we've been developing this integration with AWS with the idea of empowering you to create your own chatbots using your CXM case types. So removing the duplicated effort, removing the technical barriers, and providing a solution for giving or having intelligent services on your platform. So a couple of the motivations behind this integration. The main thing, what we're all about here at Jadu, is low code. So as this technology is in its infancy, there's a few technical barriers to overcome to launch these services. And for customers that don't have the benefit of having a great in-house development team, like Northampton that we'll hear from in a second, we wanted to try and solve some of these problems that Northampton was solving for themselves. Another thing to do with machine learning here is contextual training data. This is a bit more of a techie one, but whenever deploying an intelligent service that's going to understand humans, we need to first teach it to understand humans. And that can be a real big blocker for you implementing these services. So using CXM, we can get around that by using the data that we already have in the system to train your intelligent services on your case types, and to train it on also your users, have contextual local information that these chatbots understand. And finally, self-service transactions as well. So as well as this integration providing a way to set up these intelligent services, we're also providing a front end for that as well. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So prior to this, I've always spoken about the journey from CXM to AWS and how that's set up and mapped across. And today I'm going to show you a quick video on how that's going to manifest itself on the front end as well. And yes, and obviously all of this comes around to technology shift, this idea of instead of shifting users onto a particular way of completing a task, if we can have one central intelligent service serving many channels, then we can have users use the channels that they're comfortable with. And with AWS, which is who we're choosing to work with, there's multiple options. And yeah, Andy from Northampton is going to show us some really fascinating options of where you can take this. We're getting you to a starting point, and Andy's going to show you where you can really take off from there. So here's a quick video of a few of those options. I've got a bit more of an in-depth one in a second. So this is a chatbot created from a CXM account, and that's currently serving all of these different channels that you can see. So we've got text messages on the left there, we've got messaging platforms at the top, and we've got websites as well on the right-hand side, which I'm going to go into more detail on shortly. One of note there is this idea of an SMS integration with Amazon Lex. So when this ships, which, as Tom mentioned, should be tonight, which is hugely exciting, on day one, you'll actually be able to hook that chatbot up to an SMS provider. In this instance, it's Twilio. Which means that you can start raising CXM cases from text messages, which is really exciting and sort of goes to show that how far we can take this, as this ties into offline working, and being able to create a case in CXM without an internet connection is quite exciting. And this integration is something that will enable that. So what I'm going to show you now is our chatbot widget, which we're also shipping alongside with this integration. So this is what's going to get you to actually deploying these chatbots. So just bear with me 1 second. We're working on these chatbots and primarily how to remove blockers like that from happening in your organizations. And we're doing that through providing an integration and a framework for you to create your own chatbots. And yeah, as I say, should be going live this week. Very exciting. And this is the journey as a user that you'll be taking once those chatbots are developed. We wanted to continue with this low-code approach. So just a quick demo to see how this might look in your system. So I'm just logging into into a demo system here. So I have a chatbot already made that's been made from one of my CXM case types. And for those that thought that I was just about potholes, I've added dog poo to my repertoire. So just wait for that.
Living the dream,
I know. Okay, so this is a CMS. You should all be very familiar with this. There's my snippet. That's my chatbot there in a few lines of code. That's it, and get that published up. So this is the code that's going to have our CMS instance now chat to Amazon and in turn talk to CXM. So once that's all published up, let's have a look at that live. Yeah, so there we go. So we have a little Jadu robot down there. And this is just an example of the kind of things that we can do with these chatbots. You know, we can query them and find out the things that they're good at, what they can do. In this case, we've moved on to dog poo. Just a few questions. These are, all of this workflow has been mapped directly from CXM. So this isn't duplicated effort about building out a new workflow within Amazon Lex. This is using our existing dog fouling case type, which is on my demo system. And this is fairly, as you'd expect from a chatbot. You can see that there's also a microphone down in the bottom right-hand corner there. These chatbots support audio as well as text. And there we go. And that would be, in that, the end of that journey is when the integration would then go back to AWS and that go ahead and raise a case in CXM. So what that means is that I can report dog fouling without needing any human interaction. And for those high volume, low value sort of transactions, we're feeling this is where this is really going to be best positioned. So thank you for bearing with me during that video. That was excruciating. We're going to now move on to the good stuff, which is no questions. So we're going to move on to Andy now, who's come from Northampton, someone that we've been working really closely with on this development, and they're yeah, he's going to blow your mind. So thank you for listening and bearing with me there.
So some of you may have seen the previous functionality that we had, which is the voice bot. So, but for those of you who haven't, this is the proof of the pudding, so to speak. This is our current bot. Hopefully it'll work.
Welcome to the Northampton Borough Council Virtual Contact Centre.
Can you hear that okay?
My name is Norberta. How may I help you today?
Who are you?
I am a virtual agent developed by Northampton Borough Council and Jadu. You can ask me anything. I will help you where I can and put you in touch with one of my human colleagues when needed. Is there anything else I may help you with today?
How long will it take for my benefit claim to be processed?
Please wait whilst I find a response to your query. We aim to have claims paid within a month, but it depends on how quickly you give us all the information we need. The online claim form has a list of information we require. We will not send you a letter to ask for this. When we have all the information, we will work out your benefit and write to you to tell you how much you will get. Is there anything else I may help you with today?
I'd like to leave feedback.
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
I'd like to leave feedback.
What is your feedback regarding?
Council tax.
Please wait whilst we transfer you to someone who can handle your call personally. I'm sorry.
As technology, as is often the case, unfortunately, it did really well up until that point. But that demonstrates one of the issues we've got, is that we fed all the information into a centralised Q&A database, effectively. The intents that the customer then comes up with as they go through it will basically bounce off a response to the Q&A database. If it can find the response, it will come back and verbally tell the customer. If it can't, what it will do then is it will queue it back as a call, which then goes into our contact centre for a human agent to deal with. So this is really an example of what we're terming augmented intelligence rather than artificial intelligence. At the first instance, the bot will try and deal with the call. If it can, great, fantastic. It answers the call within 1 second and one ring anyway. The next thing then is obviously the customer hopefully gets their call resolved very quickly, and there's no need for a human agent to take the call. In those cases where there is a problem and the customer can't get their answer, they're still being routed through to a human agent in order to have that interaction. The next functionality that we built on top of that feeds into our CXM instance and our My Accounts functionality, which hopefully will work. I've tested this about 5 times, so it should do. But again, live environment.
To demonstrate the capability of the omnichannel options of the bot software we're working on in conjunction with Jadu, let's look at an example of how it works using the email channel. Initially, the customer My Account displays that there are no cases currently logged against the person. The customer, in this case me, sends us an email asking a question about their benefits claim. How long does it take for my benefit claim to be processed? The email is sent, arrives at the mailbox for the chatbot, and is handed off to the knowledge base to be processed, using the same one that drives the voice bot. The bot finds the answer, composes the response from the FAQ, and sends it back to the customer. As you can see, for the purposes of this demo, we've included the verification checker which displays the percentage chance that the response is correct. This is included purely for testing purposes. Not only does the customer receive a tailored email response, but, as can be seen here, the email displays the CXM case type and reference. When we switch back to the My Account page and refresh this, you can now see the case listed in the My Case area. The customer can see the same question they sent us and the response the bot sent back. As a member of staff, we can see more detail in the back office side of CXM, as you would expect. As the query was able to be answered successfully by the bot, the case has automatically been closed and is merely recorded as a successful transaction within the system. But what about those cases where the answer isn't so easy to find? For example, what if I were to ask, how do I buy an elephant? This isn't a service you would expect any council to be able to fulfill. As we can see, the process is the same, but upon receiving the query, the knowledge base can't find a suitable answer. In these cases, the bot will open a case automatically and can route this case to a suitable workflow for a human agent to reply. The response in this case is predicated as a notification telling the customer that it can't directly answer their query and an agent will need to contact them to assist. In this way, individual workstreams can be brought online as and when their knowledge bases are ready. If the case type doesn't yet exist in the knowledge base and the bot can't answer the question, then the bot can be directed to create a case for a human agent to handle. And this functionality is also part of the voice bot functionality, as it's all driven from the same knowledge base. If the voice bot can't recognise the query after 2 attempts, it will route the call to a human agent to resolve. This is true augmented intelligence in application and action.
Hopefully, that shows a little bit of the functionality that we've got available to us as a result of the work that Jadu have done with us and the Amazon LEX platform. And there we go.
That was brilliant, Andy. Thank you so much. So, okay, it was a bit rough and ready, but the failure of my computer to play Mike's video hopefully hasn't dulled your experience of that. So early work, early days, a huge amount of effort from Northampton Borough Council has gone into that, and it's paving the way for how we will interact. I mean, there's loads of things that we haven't thought about yet in creating email to case, but this isn't an email to just randomly raise a case. We're trying to answer the question first before we raise the case, and that is the thing. That is the thing that requires all of this effort. I mean, just to create that widget that goes on, it seems so simple to drag a widget into a homepage, publish it, and suddenly a bot appears. But all of the years worth of R&D is not about the widget. I mean, that was, I think, probably Mike took a few days to develop the widget. The year's work is integrating with Amazon's AI so we can get intelligent answers back to the customer before a case ever gets raised. So you're seeing it here today. It's launching tonight, and we're pushing it out to CXM this evening. But it's going to be a while before this makes it to production. I think Northampton will go first because you developed it first.
I mean, the idea is basically that we come up with a centralised location and Q&A database effectively, and all the channel bots effectively we're looking at an omni-channel solution so that everything will feed in and pull data from that one location. So irrespective of whether you contact the council via a voice call, an email, an SMS message, we can handle that interaction, and it will basically pull the same data and the same answer back irrespective of the channel the customer comes to. And again, it's feeding back to what we were saying earlier on to do with the technology shift. It's not forcing customers to ring us. It's not forcing customers to use a chatbot. It's not forcing customers to email us. They can use whatever channel they're comfortable with, and we can still service that transaction.
So we've gone from smart cities to intelligent services, and my mind is pretty blown. Is it break time, Richard? Yeah. Thank you, Andy. Round of applause for Andy, please.
No problem at all.
And Mike as well.